We put James 2D in the barn so that he can start to socialize with the pigs. But the first couple times I went in the barn and looked over, and you're like sitting there in the corner staring at me, and it freaked me out. It was so creepy, James. So creepy.
Wow.
Hey, Empowered Vegan Lifers, Ella here with two special co-hosts today. I have the board of Hogs Kisses Farm Sanctuary with me, Anne Molina and James Aubrey. Welcome, you guys.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. Today, I'm so super excited because the last time we were on, it was you and me, Anne, right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
In Miami.
In Miami, at Dawn's house.
At Dawn's house.
We had some laughs about poop.
Yes.
A lot of laughs about poop.
Laugh about poop.
Yeah, so we have a lot to update you guys on, which is why I wanted to get this episode out because we have pigs.
We do.
We have pigs.
Hogs has hogs.
Hogs.
Absolutely. So we are going to give you guys an update today about what's taken place since the last time you got updated and tell you the whole story. We're going to bring you along for the ride as we transported these amazing animals back to their forever home. And then also talk about some opportunities for you guys to actually get involved. Because that's so important. You know, hearing about it is one thing, but I know so many people say, this is phenomenal, but how can I help?
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think people always feel like they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, right? So if animals are your thing, veganism is your thing, then believe me, we want you.
Absolutely. So, Anne, do you want to kind of dive in? Let's get the quote boring stuff out of the way.
Sure.
Because that stuff is important, but yeah, we've got lots of funny stories to tell you guys. But just in terms of real quick, kind of what happened to prepare for the pigs to come.
Sure. Yeah. So preparation was many months. We don't have farm animal experience whatsoever. And so the learning curve has been extremely steep. And so we had some great experiences where we were volunteering at other sanctuaries, but also enlisted help of very experienced folks. We enlisted a company called Healthy Herd Consulting. Jill owns that, and she's been consulting sanctuaries for a long time. So part of us preparing was learning what kind of infrastructure had to occur. Many times people who start sanctuaries actually take over a farm that maybe was already in existence. So maybe it already had barns or has fencing and things like that. We bought raw land. And so we had to build the infrastructure from the ground up. And so we designed and built a pig barn. We then also built proper fencing around 5 acres of our land for a pasture for the pigs and eventually the cattle. And it sounds simple and easy and non-sexy, right, in that way, but just the fencing alone, you have to think about what materials, right, are appropriate because you want it to be safe, but you want it to be safe in terms of they don't hurt themselves, the animals that will be enclosed in, but then also to keeping out harmful predators as well. We're thinking in terms of farm pigs. So in this particular case, it wasn't that I had to go, say, too high with the fence, right? And, so it was all that stuff. And I mean, it is so detailed, and that's just the fence.
What about the holly tree?
Yes, right. That's a really great point. Yes. So other than just the fencing around the entire pasture, we also had to think about what greenery and growth and trees and plants were all there in that pasture. So we discovered this beautiful holly tree, and lo and behold, it's like one of the only trees in the middle of the pasture to provide shade. And it's a holly tree that bears fruit, and that those little holly berries can be toxic, not only to pigs, but actually many animals. So we then sought out all of the other trees in the area to see whether they would be toxic to the pigs. So anyhow, we had to then create 200 linear square feet of fencing to go around the holly tree so that the pigs cannot go in and eat it, So it is really thinking about every little detail. I will say, though, that I love our pig barn. I am really happy with the design of that.
Yeah.
We have not only like barn doors and then a circulation fan and an exhaust fan and such, but then we also have inner gates as well. So that way we can keep it open, and the ventilation is really great in there, providing plenty of ample space for them, I think. We put some straw right in there as well for them.
People might not know how much shade and how much the heat affects pigs. Right?
Yes. So pigs don't really sweat, or their sweat glands don't sweat in the way that we think sweating is. I think they do sweat a bit out of their snouts. But because they don't sweat, providing them ample shade and cool mud puddles is extremely important. And of course, also lots of water to drink. I think they need something like about 5-6 gallons per pig per day, access to drink. So otherwise they get what's called like a salt poisoning if they don't drink enough water. So again, another piece you have to build into the design of the enclosure and the barn and the everything.
So much to learn. James, how much did you know about pigs before we started this project?
I think all I really knew was that they fifth most intelligent animal in the world. But also, obviously, I watched the film Babe, and some of them can talk. No, they're actually, they're really intelligent animals that we don't really. I never really used to. I never knew until I went vegan. But I also didn't know how big they can get. I mean, the ones that are used, in the pork industry are enormous animals. I didn't realize how big they are, because you often see like these little, they call like pot belly ones, the small ones that, or teacup pigs, which obviously they're just babies, and they will grow. But, pigs are quite small. Babe was obviously just a small one the whole time. When you see, they're big animals.
Yeah.
Like Esther, the Wonder Pig.
Yes, Esther. Yes.
Nobody's
I
seen
think she is the most famous pig.
Probably, actually, apart from Babe. Yeah, she probably is. And if she, there's the TED Talk by her owners. And that's really worth a listen, because they talk about how she's, so much more intelligent than their dogs, and how she interacted with them. And she's like almost outwitting them. Food and treats and stuff. That's amazing. So they are really intelligent animals.
Yes. Well, one thing that Hogs and Kisses is going to be doing in the future is helping support other people who want to start their own micro sanctuaries. So I think it's really important that we cover the scope of what it looks like and what it means and the responsibilities involved, because it's not for everybody.
No, it is not. It is day in, day out, like having to be on top of their routine, building trust. What do they need? Their medical. And, I think in every vegan's mind, it is a dream, right? Because you think, I really want to make a difference for these animals, because truly the animals that do go to sanctuaries, it is like, other people have always been saying this too, like, it's like winning the lottery, right? It's so rare that those animals can get that chance to live out their lives fully. So, it's a great feeling that you're contributing to something like that, and by all means, I know all of us love animals, right? And when you get that connection with the animal and you see how smart they are and they're outwitting you and stuff it's really cool, and it's a lot of work. So definitely don't be fooled.
And costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Much more money than I thought.
Yes.
Yeah. But more to set up than to run, right?
Indeed. Oof. Yes. Yeah. It really, honestly.
Setting up is the biggest
one of the
expense.
Things that we really love and promote is the idea around micro sanctuaries, right? Now, we will be micro in the sense that we'll have fewer numbers of animals, right? So we'll be micro in terms of volume. But definitely micro sanctuary movement promotes, if you just kind of go into it with one species, let's say, and you might take on a species that may not need a huge pig barn and huge pastures, right? And things like this. You can still absolutely make a difference for farm animals, but you're sticking to ones that maybe have a lower cost in terms of the infrastructure of their housing and their needs.
Yeah.
So please definitely think about that if funding is something that would be worrisome, for somebody who wants to start a sanctuary.
Yes. Well, you guys, so I took off from Miami. Let's take them on this trip.
Right. Tell us a story, because for anyone watching, I haven't even been brought up to date on everything that's happened. So I'm enjoying it for the first time too. So Ella, please take it away.
Yes. So made the trip up. First of all, that was a challenge in and of itself because Shy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes. My little Shy, everybody knows Shy. She had major spinal surgery just 2 weeks before this trip was planned. And they were not going to give her medical clearance until the day before was when I would find out if she was cleared to come with me or not. So that being said, the day before I was supposed to come, they gave her medical clearance. Woohoo! And the trip was underway. So Shy and I, we headed up to Charlottesville, where we met Anne on the land, where Anne and Mike were setting up the camper that was to be my home for the next 6 weeks or so.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
That was interesting. An interesting start.
Yeah.
Anne.
And so we're building, other than the farm, we're also building our home on our farm, right? So we've had some very interesting delays, that have come about. And one of them, or the main one, has been electricity. So we still don't have electricity at our property. And we are actually supposed to move in probably in the next 3 weeks. So the camper was meant to be, us being able to be responsible and having someone there on the land and helping with feed and just keeping our eye on the pigs, right? So how we've had to power this camper or RV is through a generator. Weather certainly this past week has really gotten hot. So the generator has been the only thing. There's no running water though. So we have to take buckets of water from our current home out to the camper for Ella as well as the pigs.
They're carrying water out for both me and the pigs.
I mean, it's roughing it. You know what I mean? These are, we're Miami girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a whole new world.
Not to mention, Mike had never. I mean, that's a thing in and of itself. Trying to get the trailer, the camper. So you're on a hill.
Yes.
So this camper, the first night that I stayed in, I'll just fast forward just a little bit because Shy got on the camper and slid all the way down from one end to the other.
Really?
Oh, yes.
It wasn't yet graded right. We had to get it right. And I swear to you.
Yeah, but it must be like this. I mean, who's...
Right. Our slope, our pasture's very sloped, which is great for drainage, right? But not so good for setting up a camper to be level, Oh my God.
So that was interesting. Wow. And on that same day, remember the first day, we haven't even left yet. You had gone and picked up the livestock trailer.
We did.
Or this was the next day, but
the very next day. Yes. Yes.
And so did you?
So we go to rent a livestock trailer because we don't currently own one, but that is on our budget. So anyone wants to donate to us to help us to get a livestock trailer, we would greatly appreciate it. So anyway, we go pick up the livestock trailer at a place that rents it out and we bring it back. And we go to pick up a bunch of straw from a local hayer and all this kind of thing. And anyway, we come back and my husband is so helpful and so wonderful. And he is running around doing some errands. So he goes to detach the livestock trailer from the truck. And it happened to, again, be on a bit of a slope. And lo and behold, it was rolling towards the pond. It almost landed at the bottom of the pond. We were freaking out.
Oh, yes. We were running around trying to find wood to wedge under real quick under the tires.
Behind the tires,
gosh.
Oh, my God.
What, you were chasing it down the hill?
Trying to hold it. And we were it was...
chaos.
Oh, it was. And I mean, my heart, right? It sunk into my stomach. Oh my good God, we haven't even gone to get the pigs.
Our trailer's in the pond. That's amazing.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
wow.
like all rookie mistakes, we made them all, right? And it doesn't even end there. It was like every day something was occurring, but that one was like the big one. Yeah, that one was a big one.
That one could have been nasty.
Yeah.
Showstopper.
Yeah, that would have been a
Yeah.
showstopper for sure. Yes. Yes, James.
All
Wow.
right. So
So
then
next
we get on the road, right?
we get on the road, and that was a pretty pleasant drive. I think that was okay. We rehitched the trailer, the whole thing, and then we had James 2D with us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go on. Yeah, explain that.
We were so sad that James, we really wanted James to be with us, of course.
I would love to have been there.
Yes, I know you would have. And if it weren't for COVID restrictions,
Exactly.
we were going to really work on making that happen. But
Yes.
but we
Yep.
couldn't. So we
So
did
we
the
did
next best
yes,
thing.
exactly. We got a large cardboard printout of James and took him everywhere with us. It's true.
I mean, I was taking a full-length photo of myself in front of a green screen thinking, this can't be real. This can't be happening. And then the next, 2 days later, there's just a picture of the two of you with me between, standing between you. I was like, oh my, they've actually done it. This is amazing. Not many people get a full-size cardboard cutout of themselves. So, yeah, wow. I feel honored.
So-
Absolutely honored.
Yeah, you'll hear us talk about James 3D and James 2D.
2D, right?
Okay, yeah.
James 2D was with us physically. James 3D was with us in spirit.
Spirit, yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all of us, it was Anne's husband, Mike,
Yep.
and me, Shy, and James 2D.
2D. Yep. We drove up and stayed in a place up there, and then
Yeah.
In New York.
in New York, yes, where we
upstate,
went to
right?
go pick up the piggies. Yep. And then the next day we were all super excited. And I have to tell you, I mean, I had nerves about it. I
Yeah.
really did. And I don't know, maybe because it was like so much prepreparation went towards this. And now it was like going to meet them,
This is the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've
And
been building up for this for years.
we have. And even like, I swear,
Yeah.
I must have asked Ella, I first had this as the brainchild, right? Maybe almost 2.5, 3 years ago, and asked Ella to be on the board then, so it has been building up, right? And so we go to the farm to go and pick up piggies, and each one of us, because afterwards, Mike, Ella, and I were all talking about, like, in our minds, we had this whole vision of how picking them up was going to go, right? And it was all this like romantic, like we'd get there and frolic out into the field and like bond with the pigs, and like,
Yeah.
daisies around them, and they would just walk onto the livestock trailer with us, like no problem, Yeah, it was further from that.
That's amazing. Go on then. So how did it go?
Yeah.
Well, interesting. First, for those of you who may not know about how we came upon the pigs, you want to tell that story?
Yeah, sure. So being that I knew that I wanted to get going on starting a sanctuary, and I was rounding up board members, right? And so I just asked Ella and so forth. So I mean, this has been like a little while. I was overzealous, and I happened to join a group of other sanctuary folks who what happens is a lot of times if animals are up for rescue, meaning they know of stories where there's pigs, cows, chickens, wherever that need help or need medical attention, they'll pass them around so that other sanctuaries who might be able to take them in can take them in, get them transported. So I saw these piggies in New York being shown and advertised saying they need a home. And we knew we were going to have pigs. So I immediately said, listen, I don't have land yet. I haven't even started a 501c3. I haven't, nothing. But man, I know we're going to have pigs, right? Well, anyway, that then launched us into, we supported the feed and vaccines for the pigs for a year. And these pigs, there were 11 or are 11 of them total that were a part of farmers who were having kind of their own operation. We might call it like backyard farmers kind of idea. They had their own operation and were breeding pigs for production. And the wife, I think, started to learn about how amazing these pig animals are. So a lot like James, like you were saying, that how smart they are. She started to learn a lot about even just how intricate their social circles are and how smart they are. And she basically, at the end of the day, fell in love with the pigs. And so she wasn't able to send them to slaughter anymore. And so there was a last 11 that they saved and said no more, where then they actively sought out to rehome those animals that they could live their lives on a sanctuary. They contacted Woodstock Animal Sanctuary up in upstate New York. They were at capacity, COVID was going on, all of this stuff. So when I reached out and they said, well, let's keep in touch then on this, because it's not an emergency situation in that they had to be rehomed immediately. So that was really good. So then that's where the relationship started, where we were helping with their feed, their vaccines, and Woodstock is fantastic organization run by a great group of people. One of their main leaders there, his name is Hervé. He's a lovely French guy. And he's was just so instrumental in helping us in every way. And we even invited him as well. We said, please, could you at least come there the day that we come to pick up the pigs? We'd like to meet you, meet the farmers, and he, again, was extremely helpful the day of too.
Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness.
We will get to that.
We should tell that story too. Holy moly.
I think that's next. So we pull up and get out of the truck, meet the farmer and his wife and Hervé, and there was another.
Yes, their marketing communications manager also had come.
Yes, and the piggies were in this very small barn that you couldn't really see in until you got up close. So we kind of walked over and looked in, and I think all of us, we thought, wait a minute. Those cannot be
right. Yeah,
those can't be the pigs.
Correct. Yeah. No,
is it a bear?
Yeah. Mike looked over at me and goes, "What's that in there?" And I was like, "Oh my God, is that a pig?" We were like, "What is that?" So we had, I don't know why, but I had in my head that we were getting 350-pound pigs. Like that's still a pretty sizable pig. Most
three times 150 pounds.
300, right, exactly. We were going to get 350-pound pigs, correct?
Oh, each one 350
Each one, that was what my thinking was, okay? And most potbelly pigs are, 100 to 2, maybe 250, okay, potbellies. So I was thinking a bit larger than that, maybe 350, 400-pound pigs, right? So when we looked in there, like Ella said, they were ruffling around in there, and it looked like there were bears inside the barn. So lo and behold, when we did take them, we did get them weighed when they were going through their medical spays and such, which we'll tell you about too. Anyhow, their weight, the smallest one is 630 pounds. The middle one is 708 pounds. And the largest one is 718 pounds. Okay. So all of us, our jaws dropped.
The trailer was able to cope. That wasn't an issue.
Yeah. So this is a great question, James, right? So getting them on, that we'll tell you about that. But once they were all on, it was snug. And granted, they like to snuggle together. So that was helpful. But I don't think we would have been able to go with like a fourth large pig like that. It would have been too tight. The trailer we got was 12 feet long. We probably would have had to gone with a 16-foot long trailer if we were to take in any more. Yeah. But yeah.
Yes. So.
Wow. That's a bombshell. Holy Molina.
Yeah. Double the pig in each one.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And now it was time. So there was no frolicking in the grass.
No. So they had ushered them into the barn because their thinking was that was going to be easier as like a chute to load the pigs on, right? And
these pigs had never been anywhere.
They had never been on a livestock trailer. This was born and raised at this farm, right?
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So it was definitely, they knew something was up and they were a bit stressed, unfortunately.
And they were extra stressed because just a couple days earlier.
Yes.
They had a vet come out because in order to cross state lines, by law, the pigs have to be tagged.
Yes.
And so when you see the animals and the cows and the pigs with the tag in their ears, that's what that is.
Yes. And also state of Virginia. To get to Virginia, you have to check for 2 different diseases. So that was also the reason why the vet had to go down there and clear them and stuff like that. So
poor things.
Yeah.
Had tags put in their ears, pierced into their ears 2 days before. So they were already really stressed. And now here they are locked in this barn, and we're about to try to load them into the trailer. And farmers said, okay, well, we kind of created a chute, blocked off both sides. Farmers went in the barn, started kind of kindly tapping on them, saying, let's go, come on, let's go. And using some treats and bread to try to get them up. That was interesting. That was, how long did
watermelon? And we know they love watermelon.
Not yet the watermelon. They did corn and bread.
Okay.
Yeah. How long did they try for?
I think it was probably almost a full hour. And I think it was probably a full hour, maybe even a little more for just the first pig. Once the first one got on, it was then maybe a total of another hour to get the other two on. But the whole thing was probably about 2.5 hours of getting the pigs on to the trailer.
Yes. Well, and it didn't happen with just the farmers doing it.
No, indeed.
So did you ladies get involved?
Yeah. We sure did.
What did you try?
So the farmers were trying to get them on, right? And again, you kind of give them a tap, you kind of call their name, okay? And you can't make a pig do what it doesn't want to do. And especially when it's 700 pounds, right? So it just isn't happening. So there was a lot of trying to coerce to get onto the trailer, right? And so basically, a lot of times what people will use are called sorting boards. So they're just a board, so it creates kind of like a wall to the pig, right? And keeps direction. So you kind of direct them, hopefully, where you need them to go. Wasn't working. They then were like, well, let's try this, let's try that. And then after about that hour, they said, all right, why don't you all come back here? And maybe if more people are in the barn, it might provide a little more scare tactic for them to then leave the barn to come on to the trailer, right? Well, now that didn't do anything either. So we're all holding boards. And I mean, this is 700 pounds of moving around. And I think it was almost 10 of us in that barn. Maybe it was like 8 of us in that barn trying to direct and like coerce the pigs to get on to the trailer. Yeah. Oh. So we were muscling it. I mean, we were putting our backs into it for sure, trying to, like create the wall, and then they'd push on us. And at one point, one of the pigs just swung their back end around. And I swear the wife farmer, she kind of got pushed back onto the wall, and it looked like, to all of us, me and Canella, our mouths were like, oh my God. She didn't
get pushed back into the wall. She flew.
Yeah.
Flew through.
I'm not surprised.
Into the wall. Yeah. And it wasn't the pig being aggressive or
just turning around.
It's just the 700-pound animal.
Right,
And
that's a lot of mass.
It was crazy.
That was crazy. And that also was a reality check.
Yes, big time.
To us.
Yes.
Thinking about having guests and
right. Safety issues, right? How you handle the pigs, how you treat them.
If you're giving tours and stuff, and people can go up and will they be able to go up and stroke the pigs or?
So later on we did some petting and such of them, but
no, but on Hogs and Kisses in future, is that the
plan
that people can visit and pet the pigs?
Yes.
There has to be a little bit of sign a waiver that if the pig knocks you over.
And also we know a bit more about their personalities now, so we do know which pig likes being pet and given belly rubs and which one doesn't want to be touched, so we'll absolutely respect
there are pigs that don't like belly rubs.
Absolutely. There are
you learn something new every day.
That's right.
Like universal. Okay.
Yes, there are some that just they're really not interested in being touched, or they're not too fond of humans, kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not that fond of humans either. I get it.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So do we want to talk about how we actually got them in?
Sure.
Is that a secret tactic?
Well, so it's one, because look, obviously, again, making and coercing an animal to do something it doesn't want to, right, is really tough. And so I think some people have feelings about that, making sure that it's not inhumane treatment of the animal, right? Like we obviously didn't poke it with anything sharp. We didn't do any of that kind of stuff, right? But there is a little trick that was shared with us, which is if you put like a little bucket like over the face of a pig, their natural instinct is to back up, like to walk out of the bucket. So if you can get the pig, if the conditions are safe, to walk backwards up the ramp and into the livestock trailer, then that is one way you can have it, occur without hurting the animal, right? So lo and behold, again, thank goodness we had Woodstock Sanctuary with us that really helped to guide that experience with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did eventually get all 3 on the trailer.
So
well done, team.
on the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we took them to the vet. Then there was
Yep.
getting them off the trailer. However,
oh my gosh, yeah, and then back on after.
then back off,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, which was a little bit, but obviously a lot faster. The vet center we went to, because we were in upstate New York and on the way back to Virginia, we were able to pass through Pennsylvania, and we had heard such amazing things about this animal hospital. It's called the New Bolton Center. There is a vet there that handles pig spays. So it's called a lap spay, but really what it is it's a laparoscopic ovarectomy. So basically the ovaries are removed. And the reason you do that would be obviously to not breed them, right? It helps to control their hormones or temperament. But then also with pigs, they start to develop cancers very commonly, probably around 5-6 years old. It's very common for pigs. So you remove them. Almost all sanctuaries do this. They spay and neuter their pigs. So anyway, that was the procedure we went through. And this particular vet was known for being very good. And we had the best experience, honestly, with her. Very communicative. She thought about what was best for the animal and advised us accordingly. So all of their spays went very, very well. Their sutures were really good. And yeah, they were healing well. Found a couple of little hoof cracks on the bigger ones, the 708 and 718 pound pigs. So we have some things there, some due diligence on our part to make sure that we make them comfortable in their hooves. But overall, other than that, was a really pretty overall good, clean bill of health.
Excellent.
Yes.
And just remind us and everyone how old they are, the 3 of them.
Yes, right. So they're 4 years old at this point. They were born in February of 2017, and
from the same litter. Are they?
They
actually
are from
related?
the same. Yes, so they're sisters.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, and the mother was a Tamworth breed, and then the father was a Yorkshire large black breed mix. Which actually, I believe, James, are breeds that were prevalent or originated in England, I think, and then heavily used over here.
Yorkshire is a county in the north of England, so
okay, there
I'm
you go.
So. Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, so here we are.
Yeah,
we are have the piggies back on the livestock trailer, and we are headed back to the sanctuary, which was just so. I don't even know how to describe that.
Yeah.
That feeling of having these pigs that we haven't gotten to know yet.
Right.
And they're now our responsibility.
Yeah.
Their
and you guys
health,
have been working
safety.
towards this for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it must have been pretty emotional.
Yes, it was.
Having them walk off the trailer into their
Yeah.
So how was that? Tell us about it. Come on, I want to hear more.
Great question.
Yes. I mean, again, getting them off took a little bit of time. It was a little easier overall. I think it took us 1 hour for the 3 pigs. We did more. It was like once the first one got off, then the other 2 just followed. So it was more about letting them know, hey, this is your forever home. We again did treats, and we weren't in any rush or timetable in this one, right? So we kind of didn't push it. We kind of allowed them to get up, and we were like kind of, again, just kind of giving them a nudge on their butt and stuff. And they eventually all came off. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in terms of the emotional part, I think at one point when they finally were walking, so they walked into the barn, and the way that we have it set up is we have a temporary paddock of fencing right in front of the barn. So we did let them go and walk around there. It has muddy area, but then like grassy area as well, so that they could kind of stretch their legs a bit and stuff. But we kept putting them in the barn at night, being that we had to be very careful about their sutures and keeping them clean and stuff like that too. But seeing them for the first time, like walking around in the paddock, I was like, oh my God, they're here. Holy moly.
Holy Molina.
Holy Molina.
Yeah. I mean, wow, it's so inspiring to see, you've had this dream for so long and it's finally become a reality. And I know this is only just the beginning, because obviously they're going to live a long time.
Yes.
And the dream, the idea is to look after them, but also get hold of some other animals that need rescuing, and some even bigger animals, potentially some cows.
Potentially, yes.
I mean, you were talking about the pig that knocked that lady over, pretty much. I was at a sanctuary a couple of years ago. I was meeting some cows, and one of them was particularly playful, and it just decided to sort of like throw its weight a little bit. I wasn't even looking at it at the time; it was over there, and I just sort of teleported 2 meters that way. Like, I was like, what just happened? Like, it's so easy, just knocked me so far in one direction. I had no idea it was coming. I didn't know what happened. It was amazing. They're even bigger, and they're wow. Yeah. So obviously respect the big animals, but they're generally pretty, docile, aren't they? And they're pretty natured, and they're quite sweet. Even cows, actually, so sweet.
Yes. Truly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then so for the next 2 weeks, I guess, leading up to right here, right now, we've been getting to know them, their personalities, very distinct.
What are they like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Well, let's see. So Grace, she's all black, and she's the one who's 630 pounds. She is not picky when it comes to food at all. She likes just about everything. And she is the one that doesn't really like to be pet that much. You can maybe pet her on the back a bit, but she really isn't interested in any belly rubs.
No, she tolerates it, and she's friendly, but she just is like, I don't need you to be.
Exactly. Don't need you to be in my belly. All good.
How does she let you know that she doesn't want a belly rub?
Yeah. So then we'll hear like grunts.
How do you know that?
Yeah. So we'll hear certain grunts, right? And you start to try and get to know those. And then sometimes they just get up. They kind of get up and go, all right, if you're not going to leave me alone, I'm going to get up and walk over here. Yeah.
And what we have to compare that to is Imposter and Dolly, particularly Imposter, because she is just the biggest love bug.
Yeah.
And she wants to be pet, and she wants her belly to be rubbed. So she will literally come over to you and she will get herself down on the ground, which takes some effort, right? To get up and down, being that big. And she will just roll right over on her back. Yeah. And basically just say, pet me now.
That's amazing.
And don't stop.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, and she's the one who's a sexy 718 pounds, that one.
Oh, yes.
She is. So she's kind of the leader.
Yeah.
She's the leader of the herd. She's very outgoing, very curious. She will be the first to like get up in the morning and go walk around. So she's but she wants a new name.
Yes, I think we're going to go with a new name for Imposter.
Chef AJ. Chef AJ. That's the new name. We decided on her podcast. She wants to be named. Yeah, she wants a pig named after her, not a turkey. You need a new name. There it is, Chef AJ.
Speaking of Chef AJ, though, if you guys have not seen our interview, she invited us so graciously to be on her YouTube show. So if you haven't watched that episode, definitely check it out. Anne, you were at the sanctuary for that one.
Yes.
And just a great time talking with Chef AJ.
It was. Yeah. It's really nice because, again, as you all know, we're building from the ground up. So to have that kind of support while we're building, as opposed to after we have hundreds of animals, was a really, really lovely thing. And I feel like, that in and of itself was amazing support.
And then there's Dolly.
Oh, yes. So then there's Dolly. She's 708 pounds, and she has the longest ears. So their breed, the ears like cover their eyes. And so we have to like lift them, kind of to see. And she's also the one with the most spots. She'll go for some good belly rubs too, but it already has to be like when she's already laying down. She won't really come over and ask for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Need to get her a headband to keep her ears back.
Right.
So she could see where she's going.
Yes. Because I mean, they are like,
I
yeah.
hadn't thought of a headband.
Right. A pig
Yeah,
headband.
like a Rambo style headband or something. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Oh, that might be a good T-shirt.
Yes. Oh my God.
Dolly
That
with
is
her Rambo
hilarious.
head.
Yeah, that'd be so good.
Yes. Any of you creatives out there want to create that for us?
Yeah.
We'd be interested.
Yeah.
For 2022
Yes,
T-shirt contest.
T-shirt contest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rambo pig bandana.
Yeah. That'd be so good.
So one of the other challenges that we faced right away was that they were sent home with a bunch of anti-inflammatory medications.
Medications because of their
It's
medical.
one medication, but the pills are humongous, and
Really?
they
the
were
big animals.
supposed to get 10 of them.
10 of them
10 of
per
these
pig per
humongous
dosage.
pills.
And it's like,
Per
how do you
dose?
get them to eat it? And so, of course, everybody was lovely and giving us suggestions like, oh, you put it in pumpkin, you put it in applesauce. Some people even put it in like a Gatorade, because it's not like you give that to the pigs all the time, but just as a treat to get them to eat their meds, right?
They like the
Gatorade.
sugar.
Right.
Interesting.
And we tried everything. And then
Which
we
flavor?
were even suggested
Orange?
to make
Citrus.
peanut butter and
Go on.
jelly sandwiches
Yeah.
and put them in the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I swear, like Ella and I are in the barn kneeling down on the straw and we're spreading peanut butter and jelly.
Putting these horse pills.
Putting these horse pills on this. And she and I just started laughing uncontrollably.
Oh, you never
we
thought you'd be
couldn't
doing
stop
that when
laughing.
you never thought you'd be doing that when you
Never,
started Sanctuary.
never.
No, and then I thought we might need to cut the crust off.
Right,
Was my
exactly,
suggestion.
right. Whether
Oh,
they
they're
like
that
crust or
fussy.
not.
They don't like
Yeah.
crust. Yeah, that was it. Not the pills. In
Yeah.
the peanut
But that
butter.
didn't-
And that
That
didn't
didn't
work.
work.
They didn't like it at all. They don't like peanut butter.
Crust or without crust.
Yeah. So the only
So
thing
you
that
guys
like,
ate them
worked-
afterwards?
Sorry?
You guys ate the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with
No, because
pills
it had the
afterwards?
medicine in it, so we ruined it. At that point. Yes. So the only thing that worked was doing fresh apples. They absolutely love apples. So fresh apples, and you'd have to really push the medicine in there,
Right.
However, it only worked maybe the first time. After that, they learned how to eat the apple, like crunch the apple enough that the pill would fall out, and they would then go back and just eat the apple. So they learned how to eat
Smart
around
ladies. Smart ladies.
the pill. Yes, it was incredible.
There's no fooling them.
No fooling them, really.
No.
It was incredible. So it was really tough trying to get them to eat their meds. It was
So
really
what
tough.
was the solution?
That
how
was
did
it.
it
We
work
kept
in the
trying that. That was it.
We did the best we could.
We did the best we
you
could.
know. I think we're going to be saying that a lot.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We're here. We're doing the best
The
we
best
can.
we could.
And that's what we got.
Because they found us out. So it didn't even, because then they do like kale as well. So we got some fresh
Maybe
kale.
some kale rolls.
Ella made like a wrap for them and stuff. And maybe that worked for like one pill of the 10. You know what I mean? But it was like
Every time you had to think of something new because they were like,
something
no,
new.
I'm having that
Yeah.
again.
But then
That
they
had-
knew what we were up to and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, it was tough. Yeah. So anyhow,
So that's the
Wow.
gist.
that was the gist of that.
Mhm.
And it's really been getting hot here. So we just started to make them some mud wallows because again, we couldn't allow them to get their sutures all dirty and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that first
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
wallow we made.
Yes. They
Oh my
all
gosh.
bum rushed the wallow together.
Really?
3 of them. Yeah.
Wow.
They like wanted mud all over themselves.
Well, how hot's it been getting? I suppose you're going to give me temperature in Fahrenheit, but
Here. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fahrenheit. So it's, I think today, like 93.
93.
So, I mean, it's
Quite a
quite
lot,
hot
isn't it?
for them. They really need to be down more like 75, degrees.
oh wow.
So the mud is what cools them.
Hmm.
And then, as we mentioned, there's no electricity at our house yet. So our barn, even though it's fitted for a fan and an exhaust fan and an automatic
Not currently
waterer and
working.
everything, that won't
Yeah.
become available till later this week. So, so that's where now the mud wallow is really important.
And I have to say, the morning routine makes makes my stay worth it because it is just so fun. I am having such a good time every morning, waking up and heading down to the barn, and they're still sleeping inside the barn. And I just come in and say, good morning. It's like lights on. And they
first you get scared by me. You get scared by
Imposter
2D me.
And you're in there after you scare
first
me.
I freak you out being in the morning, and then
yes, we put James 2D in the barn so that he can start to socialize with the pigs. But the first couple times I went in the barn and looked over, and you're like sitting there in the corner staring at me, and it freaked me out. It was so creepy, James. So creepy. Wow. Stop creeping. Anyway, Imposter usually rolls right over, wants some belly rubs, and then we have our breakfast, and then they go out and do their business, and it's just it just feels so damn good.
It does. It's nice. It is really nice. I mean, I'm going out there as well, and helping with whatever the meds, right? The feed, everything they need, picking up the poop and all that kind of thing. We're composting.
With the poop.
Oh my God, I got these amazing pooper scoopers that have like these claws on it, so it pulls it out of the grass. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh. What?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They yeah, that's it. Sounds like quite a mission just to pick up one pig
yes.
Poop.
Yes. And as they have now settled in, their poops have gotten, a bit more magnanimous. So yes. So it's been interesting. Yes. But anyway, so doing all of that, but then I find myself like, oh, maybe I'll just hang here and I'll do work, in the barn while they're sleeping or, whatever it is. So it's almost like therapeutic just being around the animals.
It is.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yesterday we were able to film an episode of Beat Around the Barn, which is the educational series that and that was such a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Really good idea.
And because I think it's like, right, it's pulling us together with so many amazing communities.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a great idea to sort of give back a little bit and provide a bit of education into topics that people are transitioning to veganism or plant-based diets all the time, so it's really helpful for people to have some sort of resources that they can have some of the questions answered that they may not have been. I don't know, if you're new to the whole plant-based veganism world, then there's a lot of this stuff that just have no idea about, which is understandable. But so Anne has had this idea to start this discussion series, let's say, called Beat Around the Barn. Sorry, I keep getting it wrong. Beat Around the Barn. And we've released 4 episodes now, haven't we? So this is how I contribute from across the pond. I edit the videos and which is and Anne has to do all the filming. So she's had to learn not only all about how to start a farm sanctuary and everything that all the animals need, but also how to operate a camera and do all that stuff, which that's not easy either. It took me a while to get my head around it, so hats off to you there, Anne, for that as well. But so we've done 4 episodes so far. I mean, start with the most important one. What is a vegan? I'm sure I've even met people recently at restaurants who don't understand what a vegan is, and you have to explain. But I think that's sort of fewer and further between as time goes on in the UK, at least. But there's a lot of people who don't really understand. I hadn't even heard the word vegan till 5 years ago, or 5.5 when I went vegan. But so obviously there's people who are considered plant-based or vegan, and there's a distinction. Veganism is really an ethical standpoint. Plant-based is more of a diet. Because although you can eat plant-based food, you may still be buying leather and other products that are, tested on animals or whatever. So there's a bit of a distinction between that. But we've discussed what a sanctuary is, because there's actually quite there's some nuances between sanctuaries and the different types and the different kinds of animals that you may have there. So that's a really interesting one. Anne went to visit some other sanctuaries, and we have some. Was it a possum, that animal that you
yes, wildlife sanctuary. Yes,
the wildlife one. Yeah, so it's very different to our farm sanctuary.
Indeed.
Should animals be gifts? That was another one, episode 3. That
Right.
was,
Yes.
interesting, really interesting, because a lot of people see animals, sometimes giving them away as a gift, as not really considering the implications of what that means for the new owner and what responsibilities they have and whether they can deal with that or not. So really important. And the last episode we done, or the latest one we done, is where do vegans get their protein, which is a really interesting one, because anyone who's ever gone vegan has always been asked the same question.
Yes.
Where do we get protein from? Just in case anyone isn't aware, all protein is made by plants. And so that's where protein originally comes from, at least the amino acids, which are the building blocks for protein. And that was a great episode with 2 friends of yours, Ella, I believe, down in Miami.
Palm Beach,
South Florida.
Sorry.
South Florida.
Yeah, South Florida. Yeah. So my American geography is not the best. So apologies for that.
No worries.
But very amazing couple with their own gym, and they in such great shape, and they've been vegan for a long time. And was it Julian, the guy's name?
Yvonne
He's
and
a beast.
Julian.
He's a beast. In fact, Yvonne's a beast as well. I mean,
Yes,
just amazing.
Both.
So certainly not lacking any protein.
No, indeed.
That's for sure. So great guests they were, and really lovely people. And we've got plenty more episodes planned, covering things like what to do if your family isn't all vegan. What about if you've got a pet and you would normally have fed it meat, which is sort of contradicting your moral standpoint. So because if you have to then go and buy meat for the animal, your pet, then it's sort of contradiction. So I had a great discussion myself. So that's another way I've been able to contribute a little bit to what's going on, is to have some discussions with people that are at the forefront of a particular topic, but happen to be based in the UK, that Anne, you've managed to find.
Yes.
I don't know how, but great detective skills on your part to find Alice, who has written a book about sort of a clean pet food revolution. And not only is a lot of pet food not particularly, well, in terms of ingredients, not particularly great for your pet, as is probably a lot of processed food for humans. There's also the question of whether you can feed cats and dogs, which obviously are the most common pets. Can you feed them a vegan diet? And I had a discussion with Alice, which is going to come out soon. Part of one of the episodes, and I won't no spoilers here, but it's definitely worth having a Anne is definitely keen, because Anne has a cat.
Yes.
And, so I'm sure Anne is really looking forward. You haven't even seen the discussion yet. So,
no, not yet. But we're excited, because as soon as we'll see the interview, we're going to have a roundtable discussion. Ella, myself, and one of our volunteers, Belle, who also has cats. So it'll be interesting for us to just kind of kick around the ideas and see what we come up with.
Yeah. But what I can say is that there is a pet food revolution on its way, just as there is with food for us human folk.
Absolutely.
The pet food industry will be changing over time as well. So really interesting. So that's on our YouTube channel, is it not?
It is.
Anne?
It absolutely is. Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Hogs Kisses on YouTube. Check us out.
I will put the links in the show notes along with the website and how to get in touch with us, because we've got volunteer opportunities and fundraising opportunities to get involved by helping financially.
Yes.
Yes, we could use some of that.
We definitely could use some of that. So we've been pretty much just doing some like social media fundraising, but we're going to organize ourselves a little bit where we may end up doing some fundraisers where we might do like a little virtual tour. We might even do some fun things like a little summer concert or some vegan food cooking tips or things like that, where we might have them as separate, but to be able to attend those events, it would be through a donation to the nonprofit. So do keep in mind that and look for that. Also, we'd like to have a way to include the community in our sanctuary. And so we came up with this idea around doing naming plaques. You see them at religious institutions or at hospitals or at schools. And so we can have a plaque where you could say in memory of, or donated by, or dedicated to my cat, right? And then that plaque can sit on our fence. And so that way you can be literally, physically a part of our sanctuary as well. So
immortalized in the sanctuary.
Exactly. That's right. Yes. So we'll have some naming plaque options. Yep. And then the main big one coming up, our next big, huge project is, now that we have the piggy barn done and the fencing, our next big project is building the bunny barn, or we're calling it the Rabbit Valley Resort. So our farm is on Rabbit Valley Road, so we're going to call it the Rabbit Valley Resort. So anyhow, the barn for them will have an indoor component plus an outdoor run. So that way we can let them stretch their legs, jump on some stumps, dig some tunnels, right? And just enhance their natural instincts, but yet also keep and provide them a safe place away from predators. And it will allow us to be able to rescue and save more bunnies. When we've been talking with other sanctuaries, all the sanctuaries say to us, oh gosh, you all have chosen the difficult animals, right? So rabbits are very sensitive animals, and sanctuaries don't always take them in. Pigs too can be very complicated, and we hear too cattle as well. So we really are taking the bull by the horns, right?
I bet they said turkeys are easy to look after.
Yes, James. I knew you were going to plug the turkey.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm a broken record, but I'm going to keep doing this until we get some.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Yes. So we may have a turkey on the horizon in our future, but definitely more immediately, we need the bunny barn for sure.
Absolutely.
So all kinds of fun. I mean, there's so many ways that you can help us. If you go to hogsandkisses.org, you can directly send money via our website. We have a wish list on Smile, Amazon Smile, as well as we also have that amazing merch. We've got our logo on t-shirts, as well as our contest winner, who is his cousin. Everybody loves, by the way, our merch. So do go on there. Definitely, we get a cut of that as well when it comes to our animals. So all of those ways are ways that you can, help us with the funding.
Yeah, or you can get in touch, and you can help us online. So you don't have to physically be at the Hogs and Kisses Farm Sanctuary. But if you want to help us write fundraising sort of grants or apply for grants for us, or help us out with that we'd be certainly appreciate it. If you want to actually help on the farm, then there are volunteer opportunities. And now, obviously, Anne was talking earlier about being on poop patrol, and Anne does a good job, I'm sure, but she has other things to do as well. So if we could free up a bit of her time so she's not always on poop patrol, then and I know that's not the most glamorous job, but that's not the only job. But anything from painting fences or the barn, or helping with construction projects, or we'd appreciate it all massively. And if you want to get involved, then contact us, and contact Anne. You'll leave we've got your email address somewhere to contact her.
Yep, we'll put all of that in the show notes.
Awesome.
So
excellent. But for now we just need lots of help.
Lots of help
to raise money, and just to look after the piggies we got, and build new stuff. So
amazing, you guys.
Yes.
Well, this turned into quite the story.
Yes, we had a lot to share.
Well, I had a lot to hear myself. So it's been fantastic to hear that it's going so well, and well done to you both for what you've done so far. Amazing. I'm really happy to be a part of it. So it's awesome. What a team.
Yes. Next, we'll have to get you over here.
Yes.
Cross that.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. Honestly, can't wait.
That's the goal. Next podcast episode where we update everybody. Going to be in person.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah, definitely.
That'd be cool.
Awesome.
Exactly.
All right, you guys. Well, we are going to wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you could share this episode, that would be huge. Share this with your friends and your family and your coworkers. Who doesn't love animals? Like, even people that still eat them. There's that love
Most
for
of them
animals.
say that they do.
Yes.
Love animals,
Exactly.
so-
Yeah. So share this. It's a fun story to share. All right. Until next time, you guys. Bye.
Next time. Bye.